Today, I'd like to take you through doors leading straight to hell. The story begins in the middle of a little piece of paradise, at a cenote, a flooded sinkhole like the hundreds found in Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. Except this one, ironically named Angelita, Little Angel, hides nearly 35 meters down, one of the strangest and most unreal places I've ever visited on our planet. Because at the bottom of this hole, into which we dove, there is hidden underground an island that seems to emerge from an eerie morning mist. But this fog, this cloud under the water, is not to be taken lightly because it's actually a layer, a haze of nauseating smoke, as strangely beautiful as it is toxic. And one is tempted to imagine that it hides the presence of an underworld behind it. Maybe that's why the Maya imagined that these cenotes were openings leading to Xibalba, a place in their mythology where the gods of death and disease rule over underground worlds. But we discovered that this unsettling smoke, which in rare cenotes forms a deep fog, is nothing of the sort. It isn't the rotten result of human activity that has come to pollute even the underground water tables here. These puzzling clouds were actually produced by life. Through the relentless work of bacteria, which, by breaking down organic matter, feeding on plants that sink to the bottom of the water, and attacking the sulfur-rich proteins they contain, produce large amounts of hydrogen sulfide. And it is this toxic compound that, by stagnating and accumulating in the water, forms this thick and intimidating pollution. A layer of hydrogen sulfide beneath which, when you enter it, you disappear. Below this, the density of the cloud is such that the light coming from the opening above us struggles to reach down here, and the beams from our lamps, disturbed by the nature of the chemical elements they pass through, end up changing color. Moving through this dark environment, among the decaying branches of dead trees, I can't help but think that this cloud of hydrogen sulfide, this layer of smoke that seems to merge with the water, is strangely, when it isn't dissolved, a flammable gas. And despite our airtight masks, its powerful and unpleasant smell of rotten eggs still manages, in part, to make its way to us. It must be said that evolution has made us extremely sensitive to this toxic compound, to the point that we are able to detect the presence of a single molecule of hydrogen sulfide among several billion molecules of air. Elsewhere in the world, this extremely toxic gas can accumulate in sewer systems, where, acting like an acid, it corrodes the pipes, whether they are made of concrete or metal. We will only spend a few minutes moving through these layers, and yet the lead weights attached to our belts, reacting with this compound, came out blackened. And the strangest thing about all this may well be that these apocalyptic landscapes were produced and shaped by the activity of mineral organisms. Organisms that not only allow us, in a surreal way, to float above gaping mouths, but also plunge us with delight into the breath of foul-smelling demons, are also responsible for very strange formations, known as Hell's Bells. In fact, we have found, on the ceilings of certain cenotes, more or less, right at the edge, between the layers of fresh water and salt water, amazing inverted mineral mushrooms, hollow structures, bells growing upside down, whose formation has nothing to do with that of stalactites or stalagmites. Because these mineral lampshades were most likely built by living organisms. More precisely, here too, by bacteria whose metabolism would have caused carbonate deposits, which, after thousands of years of growth, end up completely covering these ceilings with mushrooms. Under these thick layers of toxic smoke, we didn't find Xibalba. Maybe the underworlds begin deeper, beyond. We won't go any further, but other divers more experienced than us have. And they discovered under this cloud, in the 60-meter zone, sloth bones dating back several thousand years. And even beyond that, there are meanders in which it is possible to go deeper, either vertically or laterally, into kilometers of galleries and cavities that are still largely unexplored. And maybe, after all, that's where Xibalba still hides today. Refusing to be found, it rises at the edge of the known world, living hidden in the shadows of the last terra incognita. Meanwhile, I stay here, watching. The freedivers, who, without any hell's bell ringing to announce their arrival, descend vertically. In this well of light, for a brief moment, visited 35 meters below the surface, which definitely forms a small universe. By the way, it's amusing to think that hydrogen sulfide might one day help us visit the universe. Because it was recently discovered that this compound, although very toxic in high doses, is capable of putting mice that have inhaled tiny, carefully measured amounts into a state called suspended animation. From there, it's just a small step to think that one day it might be possible to lower the metabolic rate of astronauts on long-duration space flights.